Here's the number. Here's the thing that causes that runs the housing market. And people don't talk about this in real estate. I don't know why we don't talk about this in real estate a whole lot, but this is really all that matters. How much can people afford every single month? That is the number one factor of what determines the real estate market. Because when interest rates go super duper low, like they just did in the 2% range, right? Then people can afford a home. Why? Because you don't get qualified on the total cost of the home. No one is buying a home outright, ever. It doesn't happen. Maybe it happens once in a blue moon because you got some cash on you, good for you, right? But people do not buy their real estate outright. They buy it based on what they can afford every single month. And that's based on a ratio of how much money they make. So the entire real estate market is determined by the ratio of income to what it costs per household. Okay? So when interest rates go up, I've heard, and here's the thing. Are you a realtor, Jess?
No, I just own a couple rentals, so I was thinking about buying a couple more, but if it's gonna crash, I'll wait.
Listen, man, not financial advice. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, but wait, bro. Wait, it's already starting to come down. Look at where the momentum's going. I'm waiting. I'm stashing my cash like a motherfucker, because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? If it's already coming down, why wouldn't I just wait a little bit longer? Now listen, if you buy and hold real estate long term, you'll always win. It'll always correct back to where it is and then go up later. So if it doesn't matter to you, as long as this is important, as long as your monthly rent is positive, as long as you're cash flowing positive or at least breaking even, they call that recession-proof real estate. Because it doesn't matter. As long as what you can rent it out for is more than what you actually owe on it, then you'll win in real estate. That's a simple game, but if you're trying to be strategic, especially when you don't have millions and millions of dollars and you want to buy more properties, well, 250 grand can buy you how many properties now as opposed to how many properties in a year or two. So what drives the real estate market? And everyone talks about total number and this is this. There's so many numbers that people talk about in the real estate market. You know what they don't talk about enough is just what people can afford every single month. Because if prices of homes are here, they're here because the interest went down to 2%. And when interest goes up to, what did they just announce interest rates up to? It's up to like 5.5% and like 5.5% up going up to 6%. Well, that is a 300% increase. 300% increase on the same cost. So what do we know? Did our income in the US go up 300%? Fuck no. As a matter of fact, our income didn't go down, but inflation went up so people can afford less. They can only afford less because their dollar's worth less. So when interest rates go up, the only thing that could possibly happen, and it takes a year or two for this to happen. It takes a sec for the correction to happen. People think, oh, the second interest rate goes up, poof, home prices go down. No. It goes like this, and it takes a year or two, then it starts to correct, and then it goes down even more and more year after year, and then it stays down for another year or two. That's why they call it 5 to 10 year corrections, right? It's just a very long cycle year after year. So the real estate market is really only determined by two things. What can the American household afford based on the interest rates and the cost of homes? Well, if cost of homes are that high and interest rates go up that high, no chance. People cannot afford $3,000 a month for the same house as before it was $2,200 a month. It's completely different. So it's all based on what people can afford every single month. That drives the real estate market. And I get argued with, you know who argues with, that's why I asked you if you're a realtor, because the people who argue with me the most are realtors. And if you're a realtor on this chat, I'm going to apologize right now because I'm going to offend the shit out of you guys. I know you got a job to do. I know you got to sell some properties. And so you got to tell your clients, no, it'll just even out. No. It's not going to. Real estate has never just evened out. It's always been like this. Yes, it's a little curvy, right? But it doesn't just even out. That doesn't happen, right? It overinflates because of greed, and then it deflates because, well, shit hits the fan. So in regards to the real estate market, yes, my recommendation is stash your cash. You're going to have some incredible. This is probably the last opportunity the American public will be able to afford reasonable housing. This is actually my belief, guys. I want you guys to understand something. I'm not alone here. I actually, as a matter of fact, you know who said this and reinstated this as well as Grant Cardone. The reason why he's so heavily invested in apartment complexes is because he doesn't think the American public's going to be able to afford Greg Cardone, there you go, is they're gonna be able to afford paying for a regular house. What you're going to start seeing, if you're not seeing it already, is people are going to have to start splitting home costs because it's already so high. Rent is already so high. And what do you see in third world countries when you see hyperinflation and overcost? You see a large amount of people living in smaller areas because it's cheaper. Hence apartment complexes. Hence in other countries where they, what do they call it when they're, the slums, right? Or like they're all very small homes really stacked on top of each other. Or there's like 4 families stacked into one house splitting the cost of rent. That's just because hyperinflation hits and then people just can't afford a regular household payment. They already can't afford it. I'm talking to people who are very close to me, their lease just got up last month and they're out looking at these properties to rent and they're like, I can't afford a regular home to rent anymore. Like I might not even be able to afford a townhouse. They have to look at apartments. So when you start seeing that kind of trend, in my opinion, this next drop is going to be one of the last opportunities the middle class of America is going to truly be able to afford reasonable housing. So and that's why I feel so urgent about what we're doing here, especially part of the creed. Make some more money, stash some cash, because guys, I'm not trying to be doomsday, but I truly believe after this next correction, we're here, it's going to correct and come back. But what happens when it corrects and goes up the other way? It doesn't just hit where we're at right now, it's going to go past that. Because it always does and always has. So this is going to be one of the most incredible opportunities for any of you to stash some cash, grow your businesses, grow your wealth, and invest into some real estate. So yeah, that's where I stand on that.